Hello, everybody. Today we're going to look at a very clever trap against the Sicilian Dragon defense. It is in the so called Levenfish attack. And we start with the regular Sicilian moves d4, c takes, knight takes, knight f6, knight c3, g6. This is the dragon variation of the Sicilian. And now I'm going to switch on this opening database. From here, this is a very, very popular opening for black, and white always try to find something smart to play against this. And I think I have found the best way. So check this out. These are, you see here, the most common variations, and they're pretty similar. Many of these black are going out to be on top, actually wins more than they lose. And check this out. The F4 is actually 53% winning for white and 42 for black in Leach's database. And this is the Levenfish attack. So it's only played 4% of the time, which means also that black doesn't come across this that often. So I'm going to recommend you to try to play the Levenfish attack like this. I'm not going to go over the whole opening repertoire because it's very complex. But we're going to look at some basic traps, which are very common that you can get in and win pretty quick, actually. So now check. The whole point of playing g6 is of course to get the bishop to g7, which is not the best move for black right now. But 64% of the people of the players do this because it's the basic idea of the dragon variation. So okay, they play like this. I have not switched on the analysis yet. I maybe do it later, but I don't want to mix up too much. So now the trap or the attack point is to play e5 right away. And you see already here, 65% winnings if you play e5. So we're going to go ahead with it. And now, same here. Most people just exchange here on e5, which is not the best move either. I think knight to h5 is the best optimal move here for black. So, okay, we're going to look at this. And now, most common move is knight g4. Most common move is knight d5. Both of these moves lose instantly if you play it right as white. And the third most popular is to go to d7, which I think is the best move in theoretical play, but in practical play, it's very hard also to defend. So we're going to look at these three moves. 5% play knight h5, which is I think most practical best play for black, but we're not going to look at that. It's still white is ahead even after all of these defenses. White is ahead now because black played bishop g7 too soon. So okay, let's start with knight g4. And the basic idea of this attack and these traps are this move. You see here, 80% win with bishop b5 check. Okay, let's switch on the engine now. See, we're already here plus 1 point. See how far up it goes? 1.6, 1.4, 1.5, something around 1.5. And now, the most common move is king f8, and I'm going to show you why. Because if you put something here, like you play bishop d7, and these arrows give me away. I'm going to take away those arrows, actually. So we're not going to spoil anything. Because if you do that, white can just take on g4. Cannot take back because of the pin to the king. So you're just going to win a piece. And you cannot win it back. You just take something like this, and you're a piece up. So, again, Of course, you cannot play the knight here either. You're just gonna lose uh, your piece. So, and the black player sees this, so instead they play king f8, which is even worse. Check it out here. Plus 11.8, plus 12. This loses instantly because of this brilliant move. Knight e6, e6 check. See what happens? You will take the queen. This is losing directly. So if it takes with a bishop, well, it's a mate in one. You take the queen and it's checkmate. So you have to take with a pawn. And of course, you see, this is obviously a very, very bad situation for black. It's plus 10. You can just castle with a check, and black has to give up another piece. Put this one in between. So you just move out your queen, put it here, and then you're gonna win the knight also. So this is knight f8 is also losing. So all of these moves are losing. The only possible way for black is to play knight c6, but this is also losing. I mean, you're plus 1.5. You're just going to take it. And you see, if black takes back, well, then you have this fork to the rook. So the only possible way for black to save something, now you take back with your knight, because you still want to do your castling, and also the knight protects these two possible squares for his knight, so it's good. And they still can't take back because it's losing right away. You win the rook, so black has to play a6 here. You take your bishop back. Note here, you are still a piece up. You took this knight on c6, so white is a piece up. So only thing black can try to do is to get piece back like this. Now you play h3, which is a very important tempo move. You cannot take there because then you can exchange, and then you're out with a piece ahead. So black has to fall back to h6, and then you can do something just like, okay, you're going to lose the piece back, so take this pawn, give up the bishop, and go back to d5. You threaten this fork, and you also threaten this fork. So you can't really defend against both. Yeah, you can with rook d8. Then you can go up with the knight, threaten this. All in all, you're doing good. Black cannot take here because it will lose the knight. You will castle short. You're still one pawn up here, and you have all the tempos. You're plus 2.9. It's a show win for white. Even if it's a show win, this is the best continuation for black after playing knight g4 in this position. So, and okay, so that was knight g4, losing instantly. What about knight d5? Same here, loses instantly also. Plus 3, it's the same idea. Bishop b5 check. Again, we cannot put anything in between on d7 because we will just take his knight. Let's see. Let's look at this first. Knight c6. What are you doing then? Well, we take it. Black takes back. And it's a fork. So you lose. Okay, so you can take back. He tries to do this instead. No. I mean, it's a threat to the queen. He cannot do anything. This is the only way trying to do something. But then you take his knight. And it's chaos. It's totally chaos. Okay, so knight 6 is not possible either. So okay, unless black wants to give up a piece, tries to play the this move then king f8. So now you don't have this immediate queen win. So you do something else. Well, now this is the most common move, and this is very good. And we're going to look at this. You do the castling, and you get this line for the rook. Actually, the engine said that just rook f1 is actually slightly better. But in practice play, I will do in practical play just do the short castling. The idea of this is that you later on can just move these, and then you can get a long castling and get your rook out. But uh, you're winning this anyway. So do the short castling. And now, what is this? The most common move here, 49. Half of the black players now. Okay, let's exchange these knights first uh, to just get rid of that threat. Well, you see, this is a mate to 3. You're not going to take it back. You're going to play this move. Again, knight e6 check. And now you're going to take your queen. And now it's actually going to be a mate in 2 because black cannot take back with his pawn due to the pin. So either you take with the bishop and it's checkmate right away, or you move your king. Okay, sure, it's check, and then checkmate. So after short castling, if black plays his most common move, half of the players do this. It's losing right away. Uh, a6 is the third most, and it's not that good either. You just go back here and you have another threat here. He can try to fight this somehow, but you see you plus 5.6. It's winning for sure. As long as whenever he plays e6, you're just going to put your queen on f3 and also just push everything here against the knight. Poor black defense, and you plus 6.4. So let's just look at this. Okay, let's say he wants to take the pawn now. So black is a pawn up. Well, then you have this. Fantastic. This is the best one. Bishop h6, check. What are you going to do? Move the king or go back with your bishop? Let's have a look at both. Okay, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with move the king. Well, then you take here. Black takes back. And this brilliant move. Knight f5. It's threatening checkmate. And it's also threatening the queen. And you can't really defend against both. Because if you're moving the queen to defend this, well, that's a checkmate in one here. So you can't do. The only thing you can try to do is take a check with the queen to get away. You guard this and you get away from the threat. But okay, White will just back with his bishop, threaten the queen, and still threat checkmate. Even though you don't need a bishop on h6, you have this knight here, so it's still a threat on d8. So he cannot take. It's a checkmate in 2. Only possible move is queen c7 to protect here and protect there, but it's still mate in 2 because you have the check with the knight on h6, and you go up or you go to f8. Doesn't matter. It's a checkmate with a rook. So all of this, you have to watch this video many times, I think, to just learn these by heart. But it's from there, knight d5 is really losing right away also in this position. So let's look at these, because these are 3 main lines. This is the most this is the best defense in this position from black, but white is still up. Even though he managed to find the best defense, or you can also go to h5. You now it's important you have to do this e6 move to just destroy his pawn structure, and just keep on attacking with the knight. So you're threatening here and you're threatening there. So black has really two options, either to take it or play knight e5. Let's say if we takes, this is actually I think a little bit better for black than to move knight e5. I can't remember. Let's look at both anyway. So this is the fork, which means black has to take here first. You take back, and then black plays queen a5. And now it's long lines from here. You're equal in the material, and you're up 1.4. And in practical play, you should sacrifice this by playing. I've seen. I think the best move by the engine is bishop f4, and you're going to give this away. It's going to be long lines. You're going to escape with the king and just keep on attacking. Sure, I'm not going to go through that. It's going to be 1 hour video. I say you can just play queen d4, which is the most common response. He goes back, and then you take the check with the bishop. Note here, black cannot take it because of the fork. So he has to put something on d7, unless he wants to start moving around his king. So maybe he plays bishop d7. That's a normal move. Well, then you... Oh, sorry. Then you take it. And black takes back. And you just castle. This knight is now protecting everything. So black cannot castle. You're still even in material, but you have your bishop going somewhere. You're going to put your other rook in here. You're up 1.0. It's you want to be white side on this game, not the black. Yeah, if you place knight, this is even worse. Then it blocks his own bishop, and you still have this fork if he takes your bishop, so you can just castle and you're happy about this. Okay, so let's look at the last line before we end this video. Then after e6 he plays knight e5 to protect against this. You still want to do this move. You always want to do this move, bishop b5 check. And you see here, this is covered, so you cannot put anything on d7 as back. You play knight b6, and now you can take here. If he takes with the knight, well, then you can go ahead and just attack here. You're up one. It's the same. If he takes back, it's a fork. It's great. So if he takes with the king, go ahead and castle with a check. So it's a tempo move, and you're just crushing him. It just possible 0.4, 0.5. But from this trap, this is like the best back can do. And you destroyed his casting opportunities. You have full control of the center. You have all these good bishops and knights covering everything. I just love this opening. So that was the conclusion. Try this attack, the Levenfish attack, next time you're facing the dragon, and hopefully you get this trap, and then you will win. All right, thank you for me. That was a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check in on my channel for more cool games, puzzles, and everything. Bye bye for now.